So this is not a video taking a shot at Adam here, but I do not like when reporters, analysts, sports media covers a player in this light, okay? Because the way he phrases this is not a good way to phrase it. He says, there's a real chance we will not see Joe Burrow back on the practice field again until he has a new contract that makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. Here's why I hate the way you phrased it, Adam. Is because that makes it sound like Joe Burrow is holding out or he has a smaller injury than we think it is, and he's not going to actually process or train or play until he gets paid. And that this injury caused him to realize that he shouldn't be playing unless he's paid. That is no way how this whole situation is going. We have seen that Joe Burrow was at training camp, was at mini camp, was at OTAs. He was perfectly okay with processing, doing all the stuff he needed to do, and do everything without having that new contract signed yet. It is not crazy to say that this contract could be signed and dealt with any day of this week or next week. This is contract going to get done before the end of training camp. Joe knows that, I know that, and everyone in Who Dey Nation knows that. So to say that, oh well, he's not playing because the contract, that has nothing to do with it. He has made that clear. This was a freak incident that happened on the field when it was a non-contact injury, and it happens, okay? Period, point blank, it happens. You can't spin the narrative and say, well, it's a chance we're not going to see him back on the field. Well, you know what? That's pretty obvious, because in 3 weeks is how long it's going to take to recover from this, right? 5 weeks is how long before the season starts. 3 weeks from now, he probably will have a contract, but it's nothing to do with his injury. And when you connect the two, or you're trying to make similarities of the two, you're pointing a negative perspective of Joe's character. And there's no reason to do that. There's really no reason to do that. Again, yes, he probably will not be back on the practice field because he won't be back on the practice field for 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, he'll probably get a new contract. There's no correlation. You're correlating the two for no reason. If he wasn't going to get a contract for a month, he'd still be back on the practice field in 3 weeks. It doesn't change anything because he doesn't have a new contract. Again, I absolutely hate this because there's so many people in the media and the sports analysts, everyone who's saying, well, Joe's not good. I worked out his contract yet because he's waiting for Justin Herbert and waiting for Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. No, he's not waiting for anyone. Listen, guys, contracts take a long time to get done. It's not easy. You got to keep in mind that there are some players who, go back and forth over $2-3 million. And they're going back and forth over $2-3 million for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. You have to work out every detail of every contract. And his contract, like I've said many times, could be a 10-year contract. It could be a 7-year contract. The Bengals aren't, going into this contract like the Ravens went into Lamar Jackson's contract or other quarterbacks where, you're like, I want this guy on our team. He's a franchise quarterback, but we don't want to get, we don't want to, we don't know if he's the guy completely for the foreseeable future. Bengals know he is the future. He is the next 10 years. He is the next 12 years. He is the next 15 years. So all it is now is just figuring out a number that works out for both clubs. And that's not easy. That's really not. Because his agent's going in there and saying, hey, I want blank, blank, blank. And the, team's like, okay, well, this is what we're going to offer you. You go back and forth, you negotiate. There's nothing to do, honestly, with Joe. Joe just gets told the final number. He says if he likes it or not. He signs on the dotted line. That's all it is. And again, if it is a 10-year contract, he might. If it's a 10-year contract, then they gotta work out every single year, backload certain years, not backload certain years, guarantee monies, what guarantees they want, what guarantees they don't want. Like, there's so much to go through with it. I hate when the media takes this injury and now it's gonna be, well, he's not coming back, or he's okay. Listen, I get it. Lamar Jackson got hurt, and because he got hurt, well, he got hurt, but he wasn't completely hurt because that he did not play the playoff game versus the Bengals, right? He didn't have a contract, so he didn't play. We don't know if that's completely true, but every single media source covered it as that was being true. It could have been true. It absolutely could have been. Lamar Jackson, no offense to him, but Joe Burrow, in my opinion, has a better character. So I don't think that he, in any way, this is, has any reality to it. Now, what I think Adam means by this, and I hope he means it like this, is that by the time he comes back from the injury, the contract will already be done. That's what I hope. But the way you phrase it is really, really, really important. Okay? It is 1000% important. Because what people do is when people go on the internet and they see a quote like this, they take it at face value and they say, wow, Joe gets a little injury and now he's pulling a Lamar Jackson. He's not going to practice or train and play until he gets paid. No, there is no correlation. This is simply just a freak, non-contact injury. He's healing. He's getting better. And as soon as he can go out there again, he's going to go out there again and play. Now, I will talk about the fact that Nick Wright actually did point out the fact of why was he in training camp if he had a sling on his, or a wrap around his calf. Again, at the end of the day, I understand the perspective of, and I said this myself, right? Joe should not be practicing if he has that around his ankle. At the end of the day, it is Joe Burrow's decision. And I think that's a lot of it. Like, as Bengals fans here, we get a little, precautionary about, like, our quarterback. Because that's our franchise. Listen, he's our leader. He's our everything, right? So, but at the end of the day, it is his decision whether he presses or not, whether he goes to training camp or not. It's not like the team's going to force him to do it or not force him to do it. And if he feels okay and he feels like he can go out there and practice and train, he's going to do it. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But again, like I said, it just annoys the crap out of me when media does this. Because this is just nonsense. This is really nonsense. He'll be fine. He'll get a new contract. And we'll beat the Brownies week 1. So, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Who dey? I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.